So it's a story which is raising questions about liberal privilege, which is what we were just talking about a little bit before, and whether the mainstream media are actually trying to look the other way, wink, wink. 2.5 weeks after his DUI arrest, we are finally getting a look at the mugshot of Paul Pelosi. The Napa County District Attorney still has not decided whether to bring charges. Police detained Mr. Pelosi, or as I like to call him, Nancy's husband, on the 28th of May, after he was involved in a crash with another car. No one was injured in that, but police say Paul Pelosi's blood alcohol level was 0.08% or higher. The Napa County DA's office is also refusing to release body camera video, and a move critics say is politically motivated. Now, we can FOIA that, we can make it ugly, Michelle. But as Speaker of the House, we shouldn't have to work that hard with him.
Anyone would want to cover this up, right? If your child, your spouse had a DUI arrest, you'd want to cover it up. That's a natural instinct. But when you are a public figure, this is what you sign up for. And I guarantee, had it been someone of a different political persuasion, that mugshot would have been out like that, right? I think we can all accept that that's the way things roll. The sad part of this story is that Paul Pelosi, it came out, actually was in a car. He was driving a car when he was 16 years old that involved a crash and the death of his then 19-year-old brother. It's awful. You would think then that someone would be really, really careful for the rest of their lives while they're driving. It's a sad story. I understand why they're trying to keep it undercover. It's wrong. This is what you sign up for as a public figure. You know that the stuff is going to be out there. And the question, why aren't they charging him? Isn't driving under the influence of alcohol at that level a crime?
0.08%.
That is a crime.
They may charge him because there is a court date, so we'll find out.
But to deny, but why not just say, yes, he'll be charged?
We'll find out. I mean, there are a lot of questions. In most states, I was reading, within 24 hours or a day to 2 days, you get the mugshot. So why has it taken 2 weeks? Now, Napa County has its own...
Because he looks horrible in it. It's like his Nick Nolte moment.
Napa County has its own set of standards. The Sheriff's Department doesn't control it, but you've got to ask that question. Jesse's been asking about liberal privilege when you think about Hunter Biden, the media covering for him, Hillary Clinton with bleach bit and hammers to her devices, Nancy Pelosi at the hair salon, Lori Lightfoot, I'm the public face of the city, I got to get a haircut. There's a lot of this hypocrisy that goes on.
All right, I don't want to throw poor Nick Nolte under the bus. I don't even know what dude is doing right now. But you know the picture I'm talking about with the...
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
I can't unsee it.
Right. Well, I can't unsee the Speaker of the House's husband with his bloodshot eyes and that either. And as Kayleigh said, why didn't we see it? And look, it's not that I want a screensaver on my phone of Paul Pelosi. I just want equal treatment under the law.
You just want the same standard.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we've seen time and time again, there are two tracks and two systems of justice in this country, both on the political persuasion, but also on the elite versus the common folk. So they check both boxes. It's California justice system, Nancy Pelosi's husband, that's double standard on top of double standard on top of double standard. I'm surprised we saw the mugshot at all. Good on Jesse Waters' show for FOIAing it and getting it.
Gotta FOIA
and ultimately, will he be charged? They don't charge anybody else in California for anything else these
that's
days.
a great point. I kind of forgot about that.
Why would they charge him? I mean, it's a free-for-all. So I don't expect any accountability, and that's the cynical part of our moment, is you see something like this and you say, nothing's probably going to happen. Because it's the Pelosi's, it's California, it's the California Highway Patrol appointed by the governor of California. Okay, move on. And that's not the way it should be.
A freezer of ice cream's coming in
face
handy.
When Michelle was talking about how he killed his brother while driving, Paul Pelosi. I looked at your face, Noah, and your eyes were as big as saucers. I mean, you had a visceral reaction, and he's missing an opportunity now.
I did not know about this. This is obviously a horrific about the past, and it's obviously a horrific situation. But this is what we're talking about is the obvious double standard that the media has about this story. The media has a double standard. There was a Supreme Court judge that there was an attempt to kill a Supreme Court judge. Yeah. That's hardly been talked about in mainstream media, and I know this all too well as an Israeli, because talk about double standard when it comes to covering Israel and covering the conflict in the Middle East. And this is something that I've been dealing with for a very, very long time. So this is not something that is, only mainstream media when it talks about American issues. When it talks about Israel, which is the biggest ally of the United States, we're seeing consistently double standard in the media, how they cover it. Their war with Hamas last year in May started with Hamas threw nearly 4,000 rockets and missiles into Israel. But around in the mainstream media, it was covered that Israel did X, Y, Israel did this and did that and attacked. And this is something that we know all too well. So it's something that needs to be addressed and called out on, whether it's local American or international topic.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.